Okay, in the yesterday class, we have talked about the mass conservation, and in today's class, we'll talk about the energy conservation associated with open systems. When we talk about energy of an open system or a flowing fluid, this should intrinsically we should always be talk about the flow work, that is the additional work we are doing or the fluid is doing in order to push the fluid element from outside to inside or pull the fluid element from inside to outside, either way. So essentially boundary work is required to push the mass into or out of the control volume, and this is the extra work that uh, the system is doing as compared to the closed system. The only thing we need to careful about is this flow work. Now we need to evaluate what the flow work is, and this work is known as the flow work of flow energy and is necessary for maintaining the continuous flow through control volume. So this is essential. Without this, my flow will stop. So in order to keep on things moving in steady manner, or in some sense, in order to happen, there should be a continuous work should be done by the fluid element that is left behind this particular element. Let's suppose I'm considering this fluid element VMP, this particular, its volume is V, whose pressure is P, mass is M, and within from this next level, from next to this fluid left towards, you have another fluid element which is trying to push this fluid element, this particular fluid element, inside the control volume. We can think of an imaginary piston uh, instead of this fluid element, the left side. Okay, so what this imaginary piston would do, it must be applying some force F. Okay, and in order to seek the work, this F is applied through L distance. Okay, so what is this F essentially? So since the things are, it is in equilibrium, so there are no unbalancing force. So this pressure, the inside fluid pressure, must be equal to the outside fluid pressure in some sense. So pressure times area. Okay, this is the force that this imaginary piston would be applying at at the wall of the piston, right? Okay, so and when we want to seek the work out of it, if it moves, this force moves distance L, so F times L. So this is essentially PAL. I can write it, this PA here, and this AL, I can, A is the area, whatever be the area, either it can be circular or the whatever be the area. So area times length is nothing but the volume, so capital V. Right, so PV is the flow work, it's in kilojoules or joules. So this is the amount of work that must be done in order to push the fluid inside. And if we want to tell that per unit mass basis, so small W flow work I want to tell, so this is essentially P V small, right, kg per joules per kg or kilojoules per kg. So this is the amount of per unit mass flow work that is happening. Okay, so this thing we need to just keep in mind that this is the additional work that is happening as compared to the closed system work. So the total energy of the fluid in closed system, what we have deduced in our initial chapters, that for simple compressible system. So what is simple compressible system? What I taught, where there are no electric fields, no magnetic fields, no gravity, no other external forces are applied, then we can tell that the internal energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy of the closed system, the sum of this constitutes the total energy. So the total energy in per unit mass basis, we can write internal energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy. So U V square by 2 and ZZ. So this is what we have already shown. But here in this chapter, we are concerned about the open systems where the fluid is flowing. Flowing. Oh, okay. One more thing I want to tell. Flowing again here. It's things are also flowing, but in some closed uh, system manner. But here things are open. Okay, it's coming inside the control volume, and outside it's going outside as well. So this is the additional work. So theta is the total energy of open system, can be written now theta in terms of theta. So far we have written in terms of E, but now we'll write it in terms of theta. So theta is nothing but the flow work plus the whatever the total energy that a simple system constitutes, that is small e. So PV plus E is my total energy that it constitutes. And again, this can be written in this fashion. And the final expression, this PV and U, we have also learned that this PU plus PV can again be written as enthalpy. Right. So this H is here plus K plus P. So theta is equal to this much. This is the new total energy you have to keep in mind everywhere in if you are dealing with open systems. Okay, just internal energy and the kinetic energy and the potential energies. Okay, and now we are in a step towards allowing us to write the conservation of energy, because I know the total energy. What is my total energy of the system at inlet and exit and in between? Okay, now we are in a shape to write the total energy of the system, so conservation of energy of the system. But before that, we need to check the amount of energy, total amount, net amount, or the net amount of energy. Okay, and because here this is per unit mass basis, right, per kg. So theta is per kg energy. So what is the total energy that it should constitute? Mass times theta. This is the total energy. If for your open system, m theta is what? M times h times v square by 2 plus gz. Again we can write in terms of rate of energy transport that is happening through the control volume. So that is dE by dt, or E dot, is equal to, I can do m dot, I can do m dot theta, and this is same, and it will be in kilowatts or watts, right? Now we can move into the actual conservation of energy for this particular open system. Okay, so this mass has already been conserved, that we have already talked about, nothing to, so this is implicitly valid all the time, it's valid. And from here we can tell that, so one thing we can tell that here, okay, I'm sorry, we can tell that here during the steady flow process, no intensive or extensive properties within the control volume changes with time. It means all the properties, mass, energy, content of everything inside the control volume remains constant, no matter what you do. If it is steady, if it is steady. it means nothing is changing with time. So inside the mass of the control volume is constant and energy will also be constant. It means dE CV control volume by dt is equal to 0. Okay, and this would be the key step towards the equation of conservation of energy. So we have already seen that conservation of energy for any system is written as E in minus E out. E in means all the energies. It may constitute heat, work, or mass, or anything. And E out, it may constitute heat, work, or any mass. So E in minus E out is equal to change in total energy of the system with time. So total energy means internal energy, kinetic energy, potential energies, right? And in this case, we have additional thing. What is that? Enthalpies also, or you can say this theta, right? This theta thing in our case. Okay, but we'll see. And we will put this constraint that for a steady case, since we are going to do the analysis in steady manner, so things are not changing with time. So my the energy, the total overall energy inside the control volume is not changing with time. So this goes away. So we are left with whatever coming in is equal to that should be going out. This is the fundamental thing we need to start. So this comes here. Whatever energy coming in, it must come out, whether it can be form of heat, work, or your flow work. Okay, heat, work, and flow work. Not only flow work, the overall energy, whatever the additional energy it has, including internal energy. What is this theta? Again, we have written H or U plus PV plus V square by 2. So this V and this V are different, plus GZ. So all these things are consolidated here and written here, and same thing here. Tell me, somebody has unmuted himself. Any doubt? Was this Hitang Chaudhary? Please unmute yourself if you don't have any doubt. Okay. Akash Ojha also unmuted himself. Okay. Okay. So yes, these are the same expressions, Q in, W in, and let's suppose the system has several inlets and several outlets. So one inlet, two inlet, and there are 2, 3 outlets. So 1, 2, and this is 3 and 4. So yes, you have to add these two things here. There is a summation sign over here. So whatever mass of fluid is coming in from the first inlet, H V square by 2 GZ, all these things you have to add, and in left side should be equated with the whatever things are coming out. Okay, in is equal to out. That should be your conservation of energy for open system. This is the whole idea to design your thermodynamic energy engineering devices such as turbine, pumps, compressors, nozzle, diffusers, and everything. Okay, so we'll show it in the next slide. So yes, so all Q, so this is actually net. We can write in terms of net. So Q dot net minus W dot net is equal to this thing, right? So again, if we have only one stream, of fluid coming in and out. So it means one is coming and one is out. So only one thing is there, one and this is 2. So this is my control volume. So at 1, this is your 1, this is your 2, and let's suppose my some Q in is happening, some W out is happening. Okay, so Q dot minus W dot is equal to, must be equal to M dot H2 minus H1. It means this is H2 is exit, H1 is inlet. So inlet enthalpy, exit enthalpy of the fluid, that should be subtracted, plus the change in kinetic energy of the flow and the change in potential energy. So this is how it is written in terms of overall sense, and this particular thing is the mass basis again, joule per kg or kilojoule per kg. So again everything is divided by m dot here, and so m dot has been cancelled, left out here, nothing, no m dot here. So you are left with the small subscripts. So this is very powerful formula to evaluate thermodynamic analysis is of turbines, pumps, compressors, nozzles, and everything. Okay, this is very powerful, and this thing you should be using in your uh, every time you have to use this probably. So this is so powerful, and this is straightforward as well, because I have gone through step by step how this formula has come. I've not came it abruptly. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about some steady flow engineering devices. The first device or the is nozzle and diffusers. So nozzles and diffusers are the devices. So the nozzle is a device that increases the velocity of fluid at the expense of pressure. Okay, so let's suppose, so the shape of your device is such that area starts to decrease, right, in the direction of flow. So let's suppose this is my direction of flow, and the area keeps on decreasing. So what will happen if area starts decreasing? So my flow rate, so since my flow rate or my m dot needs to be constant, so a1 v1 is equal to a2 v2. So if my area starts to decreasing, so this a1 is larger and this a2 is smaller, and let's suppose some v1 is there, so v2 will have to be larger, right? Whatever v1 you will put here, you will get v2 greater than v1, since your area is decreasing, in order to keep the constant mass flow rate. Why constant? Because it's there, I mean it has to be there for this control volume. Okay, so one popular example for nozzle is your garden hose. You guys water your plants with these kind of nozzles. So you see uh, every time you press some at the tip of your pipe, or you have a nozzle, your velocity is higher at that times. Okay, and one more good example of nozzle is your you have uh, so this is nozzle in your rockets. So in rockets you have combustion chamber. Here you have combustion chamber. After that, the hot gases are pushed towards this nozzle, and it essentially increases its velocity very high. And since this is the Mach number is greater than 1, since this is a compressible flow scenario, compressible. So after the throat, so this is called throat, and this is called diffuser. Your Mach number still increases. It goes around 3, 4, 5 or 10 or so, more than 5 or 10 supersonic. Okay, because this is compressible. So in diffuser also the flow starts accelerating, but this is another case here. But yes, nozzle is used in rockets to increase its velocity. Okay, whereas diffusers are opposite to the nozzle, and the diffuser is a device that increases the pressure of fluid by slowing it down. Okay, now in this example we didn't talk about the pressure. Let's suppose I should also talk about the pressure. What should happen? My pressures. So let's suppose my flow here is incompressible. So for incompressible, so what law governs this sort of um, flow scenario? So have you been taught about Bernoulli's equation? Anybody? So Bernoulli's equation tells that the pressure and energy is constant throughout a some streamline. Okay, if I'm talking about one here and if I'm talking about two here, and things are incompressible, the fluid goes incompressibly from 1 to 2. So then the total energy at 1 is related with the pressure energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy plus V2 square by 2 plus GZ2. So essentially this thing is constant. So again here, let's suppose for the timing gz I am ignoring because there is no height change, but yes, velocity becomes higher here and this is lower here. So in order to keep things equal, your pressure has to be go down in order to keep the things conserved according to Bernoulli's law. So the yes, pressure at the cost of pressure it increases velocity, whereas diffuser increases pressure. Opposite happens. So pressure here, let's suppose P1 and P2. So pressure becomes higher here. So at the cost of increasing higher pressure, your velocity goes down. That also we can show. Okay, and again here we can again think in terms of mass flow rate. Again, A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. So my area has become larger over here. A2 is larger. So V2 has to be come down. Okay, so this is a typical diffuser scenario. For it's very first example of, you can say, open system uh, without any queue and work that is happening inside. So there are no queues or there are no work as such happening in this diffuser and nozzle. As such, no work interaction is happening. So this is a very simple example of open system, which just based on its kinetic energy we can analyze the system based on its change in kinetic energy, right? Okay, when if we want to apply my equation here, so this is my equation. Q minus W is equal to H2 this. So can I write something there? Here Q minus W is equal to, what was that again? H2 minus H1 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus G Z2 minus Z1. Am I wrong? Am I right? Yes. Right. So here, can we write something here? So we can, yes. So this is 0, Q0, W0, right? So let's suppose Z are also 0. So we can actually write in terms of this one. So H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 is equal to 0. So this is the energy equation you have to use for your nozzle calculations, right? Or you can write more precisely if I write in terms of inlet and outlet. So H2 plus V2 square by 2. So this is maybe it might be given in your textbooks. V1 square by 2. So this, yes. So at inlet enthalpy plus kinetic energy is equal to in outlet enthalpy plus kinetic energy. So this is for nozzles and diffusers. Nozzles and diffusers. So I don't want you guys to actually mug up these formulas. So every time what you do, you go to your basic equations and just try to do it from scratch. So always stick with the basics. Okay, it will not, you will not, you don't have to remember everything. But yes, in textbooks it's written for nozzle and diffusers. This has been given, but based on certain assumptions. So these assumptions are the energy that is coming in and the work is not happening in these sort of devices. Okay. Okay, let's take one quick example. You guys take up one pen and paper and do it. You can do it with me. The air at 10 degrees C and 80 kilopascal enters a diffuser of a jet engine steadily with a velocity of 20 meter per second. Everything is given. P1, T1, velocity is given. Area of this particular one inlet is given. This is 2 is given. The area leaves, the air leaves the diffuser with velocity that is very small compared with the inlet velocity. Okay, I didn't talk here one thing. One more thing I want to talk about here is velocity V2 here in the case of diffusers are very, very less. Okay, so sometimes V2 are also being neglected, 0 here. So for diffuser, so these are just formulas. Diffusers, you can actually write H2 is equal to H2 is equal to H1 plus V1 square plus 2. So this is the actual formula for diffuser. This is directly you can write, or this also you can write, but V2 when you put it in your numerical calculations, this would be so small as compared to V1, it will automatically be ignored. Anyways, determine the mass flow rate of air, first part, and the second part, the temperature of the air leaving the diffuser is how much. So how to calculate the mass of the air? Can somebody tell me? Who will tell me?
For sir, PV is equal to RT.
You are slightly less audible.
PV is equal to RT, sir, first.
Wait a
Find
minute.
V.
Okay.
Sir,
Who is this?
questions.
Nageshwar, sir.
Okay, Nageshwar. This is your question. You can take the
Yes, sir.
screenshot. I'll give just 1 minute to think, you guys, because these questions are very much evident in all of your thermodynamics courses. These kind of questions everywhere you will encounter, whether it is turbine or compressor or everywhere. And gate questions, I'm telling you right now, these kind of questions are definitely asked 1 or 2 times in gate in every year. Even in interviews, you guys must be asked these kind of questions. Okay, tell me somebody where to start. So for mass flow rate, what is my mass flow rate? So I need rho A and V. V is velocity. Okay, so velocity here V1 is given. This is given. Area A1 is given. And rho I need to tell you. So rho, how to calculate rho? And this m dot will be constant throughout, whether you take here, 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 anywhere. Your mass flow rate m dot will be constant. That is what my mass conservation tells. Okay, so no need to worry where to from where which area I have to take. Any area you take, you'll get the same mass flow rate. Okay, so rho is what? 1 upon specific volume. I can write, right? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
यस सोनी कुछ बोलने लग रहा था. Anyways, Rahil, Nagesh, Rahil or Nageshwar, anything you want to tell?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, first V is equal to RT
Huh.
and rho
So
is equal to 2, sir.
why should I use PV is equal to RT?
Sir, specific volume, sir. Find first specific volume.
So specific volume यहाँ से आ जाएगा. But why not? Why didn't I get the data from the table?
Sorry, sir.
I have given P1 and T1. Or yes, you can write ideal gas equations. Yes, you can safely write. So P1, V1 are T1. So our T1 also given, P1 given. So from there you can estimate my V1, means specific volume. You can estimate RT1 by P1.
I am a 14 updated नहीं है.
Okay, so we get something 1.015 meter cube per kg. So this I got. Now B question is important because we are somebody please unmute yourself please. Who is talking? Okay, let me finish this and then you guys can talk.
भाई आज क्रिकेट खेलने का प्लान है.
Who is doing that? Okay, after maybe 6 o'clock you guys can play cricket. Okay, B, the temperature of air leaving the diffuser. How should I tell that what is my temperature?
Sir, through that H1 plus
Thank you.
the equation that we discussed.
Very nice. So who is this?
Ohm.
Very good. Very nice. So again, yes, we have to go through the energy analysis, and we have already gone through the energy analysis. Okay, and what is that? So E dot in minus E dot out. I don't remember any formula, so I will go again and again by dt. Okay, control volume. And this is my control volume. Again, in exams I need.
वो जैनम के घर जाना है.
हाँ चले जाइएगा जैनम के घर. बट एक क्लास के बाद, ठीक है? Okay, please unmute yourself. So this is 0. I've already told. So this is 0 in and out. So this boils down to I'm talking about the net energy. So m dot times h1 plus v1 square. So this is velocity by 2 is equal to m dot h2 plus v2 square by 2. So this is the same formula which I'm writing here. So this was per mass basis, and now overall mass I need to multiply if I want overall things. Both are equal, both are same. So anyways, m dot has been cancelled. Both you can write. Okay, so this is the formula you have written, and these are based on the assumption that q dot and w dot is 0. No heat and work interaction is happening, and delta PE is also 0. Only kinetic energy change is permissible. So H2 is nothing but H1 minus V2 square minus V1 square by 2. So this is your H2. So again, what is my H1? How to calculate? So for once I calculate H2, then based on this H2 I can estimate my T2. But for that H2 to calculate, we need to have H1 data, and V2 and V1 are given. Okay, and V2 will be what? This is my V2, this is my V1 is given, and V2 will be very less.
Sir,
It is
negligible. So
it
we
is
will
close
take
to 0.
0.
We will take 0. So V2 will take 0. So this is H1 minus plus हो जाएगा V1 square by 2. Okay. Okay. Now what is my H1? Enthalpy क्या होगा? So enthalpy will be, you can go to the table. Let's go to the table, and we'll see. Right now I cannot show you, or maybe I can go to some table, or just go to the Cengel and see in tables A17. Okay, we'll see that H1 at the rate of what is my temperature, 10 degrees C, 273 283 Kelvin P, we can estimate my enthalpy of the ideal gas of air. You can go to the table and you can find that 283.14 kilojoule per kg is the enthalpy that you have been given. So this you need to put it here, 283.14 plus V1 square by 2 is 200 square by 2, and then how much you will get? H2. So this you will get 303.1 kilojoule per kg. So this much enthalpy at 2 you have been calculated. Now I have to estimate what would be the temperature. So when you go again to the table corresponding to this enthalpy and this temperature 283, you will get that T2 is equal to 303 Kelvin. Okay, so there is an increase of 20 degrees C in the diffuser. Okay, right? Any doubt so far? Okay, so then I can go to my next question quickly, since we have 5 minutes more left. So I can finish this turbine and compressor as well, because nothing more in this. So turbine and compressors, so what are those actually? So turbines are the devices that derives the electric generator. Okay, so in steam or gas or hydroelectric power plants, uh, what is happening is, with the flow of water, your your turbine is being rotated, and from the rotation of this turbine, because of this flow energy, I mean the energy of the water that is uh, gone through this blades of this turbine or this device being rotated, with rotation you will get the work shaft that is non-zero, sum, finite shaft work you will get out of from the turbines. Okay, so essentially so this is your typical land turbine is given over here. So there are several components. There are compressors here, there are some combustion chambers, and then turbines. So this unit is turbine at the right hand side, and this is a shaft, and this is being rotated quickly, and from this things are the electricity or some work can be taken out. Okay, so the flow is essentially from this side. We'll not go into the details, but right now what we will do is we will take upon the turbine in such a manner that turbine are often shown as like this. Okay, so this is your in, this is your out, and this is your shaft work. So this is how the turbines are generally denoted in your thermodynamics. Okay, and compressors are actually opposite of turbines. Okay, so compressors are where through, I mean with the help of work in, some sort of work in is being done to the system. Some finite work in is done to the system in order to increase into increasing the pressure of the system. Okay, and here essentially pressure drops. The pressure and high amount, how high velocity fluids, it actually turns the shaft and we get the work out of it. And here the opposite happens. So in general, the compressors are actually I've written I'm drawn it wrongly here. For the turbines, it is like this. Something is in, something is out, and you get the shaft work. But here for the compressors, something is coming in, something is coming out, and you actually work in is happening. This is in, this is out. This is how it is written. Okay. Compressors as well as pumps and fans are devices used to increase the pressure of the fluid. So basically pumps and fans both are in some sense compressors as well, but there is a difference between pump and compressor. So compressor essentially compresses gas, whereas pump not compresses, increases pressure of the liquid. Okay, where your water tanks that are being pumped to some higher heights, okay, through pumps. What happened? Wait, my screen is visible still. Okay,
Yes.
my thing has been crashed. Anyways. Okay, so difference between compressor and pump, I've told this is for gases, this is for liquid, and fans are also a type of pump, but it just mobilizes the air. That's all. What it does, just give some inertia to the air. That's it. No, nothing more than that. But it is also some kind of pump, mild. And this is a schematic for your air compressor. The air is being sucked in, and some work is happening through shaft, and some gear arrangement is there through that. We will not go into the details of, since this is the kinematics part of it. Uh, but yes, again the high pressure air can be taken out, pressurized air. Okay, one quick example, and we can leave then. Okay. Because after that my again I have already my class itself is there. Okay.
Sir, so what about our practical class, lab class, sir?
Oh honey, practical class ही लेंगे वो अभिनय सर ही लेंगे, but since thermodynamics है, so we can continue for just for 2-3 minutes. Can we, or should I
Okay,
leave?
sir.
Okay, because this is a good example of compressor. Okay, why compressor I am telling? So this is inlet, the pressure is low. This is outlet, the pressure is 6 times higher, so you can say, and some shaft work is happening. Okay, now what is the question here? The air at 100 kpi and 280 Kelvin is compressed steadily. So this is, again, this keyword is important for all this particular course. Steadily, for steadily I'm talking about only to 600 kilopascal and 400 Kelvin. The mass flow rate of air is given, heat loss is also given. Okay, during the process. Okay, and assuming the change in kinetic and potential are negligible, determine the necessary power input to the compressor. So can somebody comment it? Why compressors are assumed to change the kinetic energy and potential energies are negligible? Why kinetic energy? I didn't get this point. Why? Can somebody comment on that? So diffuser may, I have, this is my V1, this is my V2 velocity. So V2 is almost 0. That we can neglect kinetic energy here. But here, why we have done that? So the reason being, compressors are often, so in and out is happening, V1 and V2. So essentially what is happening here, so as compared to, so although velocities are there, okay, some velocities are there, but as compared to enthalpy of air or the substance, this V2 and V1 is very less. So H is much greater than these V's, V1 or V2. Okay, in compressors and pumps and turbines. Okay, even turbines have higher velocities, but again we can neglect velocities for turbines. Why? Because the enthalpy associated with the substance is very high. Then we can neglect numerically. But again, if you want come up with the exact number, you may not neglect it, but in general you can neglect since enthalpies are very high associated with this. Okay, so we can we quickly calculate this? So E dot in is equal to E dot out. Okay, so what is my E in? So some work is happening in, so W dot in is happening plus at 1, this is my 1, this is my 2. So I can write m dot h1 plus v1 square by 2 plus gz is equal to even loss of heat is also there. Loss of heat is there, q. So q dot in, so q dot out, here I can write plus m dot h2 plus v2 square by 2. I can write. Definitely. Again, I have told that h1 is greater than, either you can verify it or get, I mean, have with my words that v1 are very small. So this is again, I can write m dot h1 is equal to q dot out plus m dot h2. So this relation you need to tell. So I need to estimate w dot in. So this is q dot out plus m dot h2 minus h1. So everything you need to estimate. So this is given, m dot is also given, h2 and h1 you need to estimate from the tables. Ideal gas tables, you can go and check air at this pressure and this temperature, what is my enthalpy. So both you can calculate and write it down, and your answer should come out to be 2.74 kilowatts. Okay. Next is also one example. You can take the screenshot and take this as a homework for you guys, and let me know if you are guys able to do it or not at your own. So here some steam is given to the steam turbine. The shaft work is coming out of it. Okay, and this is your one inlet, this is one outlet, second outlet. I mean one, this is your one inlet and this is your two outlet, and things are, properties are given here. The property, one more property is here, quality of the steam is also given, and based on that you need to calculate some things. You have to compare the magnitudes, determine the work done, calculate the mass flow rate of the steam. So you guys can take the screenshot and then work it out. Okay, in the next class I will talk about the throttles, throttling valves, and mixing chambers, mixing chambers and heat exchangers. This is very important, heat exchangers. Okay, and after that probably we will be on one more thing, pipe and duct flow, pipe flow. Okay, after that we may finish this and we will go to the unsteady part, and after that we can conclude this chapter, and after that we can go to the second law of thermodynamics. So this chapter will conclude my first law. The conservation of energy will be over with this particular thing when we reach this, and from this, after this chapter we can actually start with the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, let me take the attendance.